Anyone who spends enough time in spreadsheets knows the sudden drop in your stomach when a formula breaks. You spend 20 minutes typing out a complex command, miss a single comma or bracket, and the entire calculation fails. For decades, data management has forced humans to meet machines on their terms. If you wanted to analyze information, you had to learn the rigid, unforgiving syntax of spreadsheet code. Now, we can skip the syntax entirely. We're going to use Google's Gemini to translate plain, conversational English directly into perfectly formatted Google Sheets formulas. By the end of this step-by-step process, you will have constructed a fully automated, logically complex dataset without manually typing a single line of code. To execute this, you only need two things ready to go: a Google Workspace account with Gemini enabled and a raw dataset to manipulate. Eliminating manual syntax troubleshooting allows you to focus on the logical design of your sheet. You define the rules, and the AI handles the technical translation. Let's look at our starting point. We have a raw data sheet with basic sales figures. Notice our specific structural coordinates. We have quantity sitting in column B and price right next to it in column C. To activate our translation layer, look up to the top right corner of the Google Workspace interface and click the Gemini icon to open the side panel. New users immediately hit a wall here by using vague prompts. If you just type "calculate the total," the system doesn't know where to look or what to do. You must use explicit referencing. The AI requires precise instructions on exactly which column and row letters to pull into the calculation. This diagram shows how we construct the prompt. To multiply our variables, we tell Gemini, "Give me a formula to multiply quantity in B2 by price in C2." The AI instantly maps your plain English to the structural coordinates, snapping them into the equals B2 times C2 formula structure. You click Insert, the formula drops right into the cell, and Sheets instantly calculates the correct dollar amount. This simple calculation proves the core mechanic. The AI understands how to take human intent and map it to the spreadsheet's architecture. Now we escalate from basic math to logical arguments. We need to categorize these orders automatically based on their dollar value using an if statement. We type out a conversational prompt asking Gemini to split the data. We tell it to label any value over $500 as high priority and label everything else as standard. The rule here is to avoid overthinking the input. Do not try to force code syntax by adding quotation marks around column names or inserting brackets. Keep your instructions strictly conversational. This animated diagram breaks down the generated if statement. Gemini outputs the exact code, placing every comma, parentheses, and quotation mark perfectly across the three distinct logic blocks: the condition, the true state, and the false state. The system isolates our threshold variables, ensuring the logic flows linearly. The data hits the condition block, evaluates the number, and routes cleanly to the correct true or false outcome. We drop this logic code directly into the formula bar, and the cells instantly populate with our custom text labels. In a real working environment, requirements change. You often need to adjust the logic rules after the initial build is complete. We go back to the prompt and ask it to inject a third tier, a VIP category for values over $1,000, while explicitly instructing the AI to retain our previous standard and high priority rules. This visualization shows how Gemini interprets the iterative request. It takes our new logic loop and physically nests it inside the larger, overarching logic loop we already built. The inner loop locks into the false slot of our primary threshold. If an order isn't VIP, it falls back to evaluate high priority and standard rules, creating an unbroken chain of logic. We apply this updated nested formula to the column, and the new categorization ripples across the entire spreadsheet. Generating a single formula is helpful, but the real power of this system is iteration. You can continually refine complex logic loops through simple conversation, entirely bypassing the need to memorize syntax hierarchies. We began with static quantities and prices. Now that data is a calculated system that updates itself and categorizes every entry automatically. If you click through the cells and watch the formula bar running behind the scenes, you can see the volume of code currently powering the sheet. This automated workflow was built flawlessly without you having to manually type out a single keystroke of spreadsheet code. You can apply this exact same methodology to scale your work further. Try asking the AI to construct complex VLOOKUPs across multiple tabs, or to generate custom conditional formatting rules. By utilizing natural language as your programming interface, the barrier between an analytical idea and its structural execution is removed.